I'm Tom Ashbrook. This is On Point in New Hampshire today. Looking this hour at the Republican primary battle. It's a beautiful day in Manchester, New Hampshire. We're looking out over the Merrimack River and a Republican field. Well, we haven't seen one like this in a long time. Nobody's sure. McCain leading in opinion polls coming up today. Mitt Romney right behind and determined to go the distance. What do you see in this Republican race for the White House, and what does it tell you about the Republican Party and its prospects in 2008? Joining me here today in Manchester, New Hampshire, Byron York, Fox News contributor and White House correspondent for the National Review. Pat Buchanan is here. He won the Republican primary in New Hampshire in 1996. Former senior advisor to Presidents Nixon, Ford, and Reagan. Now commentator with MSNBC. Our own Jack Beatty is here. And Jack, it's great to have you. Hanover, New Hampshire man. Let's go to the calls. John's calling from Virginia Beach, Virginia. John, you're on the air.
Hi, I've got a question about Ron Paul. If he gets a solid third or fourth in New Hampshire, would that end the media blackout against him? Because it seems like he's largely ignored. I mean, there was even a pie chart on CNN during the Iowa caucuses, and on the Republican side, it had him just grayed out as a 13%. Giuliani got 3 of that percent. But then on the Democratic side, Bill Richardson had a percentage that was less than 10.
Pat Buchanan, you know something about running from the wings here. Now, Ron Paul has shown up in these opinion polls. He's done better than Fred Thompson. He's done as well as Rudy Giuliani. How does he factor in as we go down the road?
He beat Giuliani 2.5 to 1 in Iowa. He's going to beat Fred Thompson up here in New Hampshire. He could come in fourth or even possibly, I think it might be a reach third. I think Huckabee will get third. But I thought it was an outrage that Fox News kept this fellow out of the debate. Now, whether you like it or not, he's got a position which a powerful minority inside the Republican Party on the issue of the war, and he's very principled conservative in my judgment, and he really should have been in that debate. Now, what he's going to do...
Was that journalistic judgment, or was that Fox playing politics?
I don't know why Fox did it, but that was foolish, especially after New Hampshire when he did well. Excuse me, after Iowa. But here's what... He's a problem for a lot of folks here, because let's take what you talked about in South Carolina. Let's suppose McCain wins up here, and Romney does fairly well in Michigan. Romney will go down there and get some votes away from McCain in South Carolina, and Ron Paul will get them away, and that will mean Huckabee will come through very, very strong. And so these fellas, the key thing in this race is you got to eliminate the other fellas and get a one-on-one shot against Huckabee, or he's going to win the nomination.
I think
Byron.
One thing about Ron Paul that worries Republicans is that there is a certain weirdness factor. He wasn't on. Boy, I'll get the emails for this. He wasn't on the Fox News. He wasn't on the Fox News debate, but he had a lot of time to talk at the ABC News debate the night earlier, and he talks a lot about the war. And it's not the United States' place to have gone into Iraq, which is a perfectly legitimate position. But after a while, he always gets around to monetary issues and the gold standard, and it weirds Republicans out.
Well, okay, but look what he did. I remember in the debates, earlier debates, on Fox News, they had the winner, according to the calls into Fox News, was Ron Paul.
Well, but he's won every internet poll there's ever had.
Okay, but look, you can't. All right, but if you got that, you don't throw him out of the debate.
Ron Paul's got his people, and they're very devoted. He's raised a lot of money, and they're not just coasting on this. Jack, my waitress this morning, waitress in New Hampshire, had 4 calls from the Ron Paul organization the other night. That means that they're really trying to do this. But how does it factor in, Byron? If he goes along and he keeps, let's say he gets 8, 9, 10%, he keeps doing that in South Carolina and elsewhere. If it's Huckabee McCain, if it's Huckabee Romney, how does the Ron Paul contingent affect the outcome?
Well, he's shown a very impressive ability to raise money on the internet, so he kind of has the gas, the fuel to keep going. I think New Hampshire is one of his better states in terms of this sort of libertarian appeal.
Who does he hurt going forward in the GOP?
But I think he... Well, he doesn't. I think he kind of hurts them all, because he's going to take a certain number of Republicans out of the thing, and Republicans need everybody they have. But if you go to these rallies, or if you go to the debates and you see the Ron Paul demonstrators outside, they're kind of halfway between libertarians and a bunch of guys with a big cardboard coffin covered with a flag. So it's kind of left and right, and you don't. I mean, maybe I'm just being way too conventional here, but you don't know where they're coming from.
Well, and on the other hand, what does it matter? He's probably not going to win, but they're going to vote. They're going to vote in primaries in this country in this election.